Instead of imagining that I'm a baker making a cake, I decided to just make one so I could visually represent it better. This is the base layer. The first layer is strawberry flavored and it's pink because it kind of, reminds me of the color of a heart, like on Valentine's Day. And the reason that it is that color is because it symbolizes the loved ones in my life, like my friends and family. People like my parents, my grandparents, my sibling, and also some close friends. And even people like the workshop staffers, like my counselor, my staffers, and the new friends that I made on that weekend. People that uplift me in my everyday life, because it's important that it's the base layer, because without people guiding me through my life and helping me and teaching me lessons and supporting me and critiquing me when I'm wrong, giving me constructive criticism, I don't think I'd be able to be who I am today. So that's why it's the base layer, because it holds the rest of the cake up, just like those people who support me hold the rest of me up. As you can see, in the heart, for the people that support me and build me up, we have friends and family and mentors and teachers. Okay. For the second layer, I have experiences. I picked confetti cake to represent experiences because I thought it looked like all the different councils from workshop. Like you have the orange little sprinkles, it's like a guazu, and the little blue ones like Zambezi, you get all the red ones and the yellow ones. Because that was a really nice experience for me, and that was something that definitely transformed me. But also experiences, it also represents experiences such as moving around as a kid, what schools I attended, how I was raised and how I experienced, for example, like I lived in a different country, that definitely shaped me, what sports I played growing up. Basically everything that I've experienced up to this point, which shaped me as a person, because experiences definitely shape the person that you are, and definitely important events in my life. So and you could think of almost each little sprinkle as also as a little experience. So that's why I picked this layer. On the second layer, I wrote experiences, and then I wrote Princess Anne Leadership Workshop, because that was the most recent experience that I had that stuck out to me and really kind of, made an impact. But yeah, experiences and what I've been through and what I will go through will definitely play a big role in shaping who I am. Yeah, there's a lot of unique experiences, such as meeting new people, making new connections, and then, learning how to deal with and overcome obstacles. The third layer of the cake, I just chose plain white cake. And this layer represents identities and activities that I enjoy. So I just left it, I chose like plain cake because it's almost like a blank canvas, as in, my identity and the things I identify with can be constantly changing, even though some of parts of my identity have deep roots, such as in, my culture and my background, but also it comes from a lot from the like in-groups that I'm in, such as being in IB or being on sports teams like lacrosse, or having certain interests, or like being in a band with my friends and stuff like that. So that's kind of what those activities and those interests and that identity builds me as a person. So I think that's a very important layer in contributing to what makes me me, and how that shapes my life. On top of the third layer, I wrote some things that I identify with. First, I wrote IB because being an IB definitely shapes my identity. It shapes some of the experiences that I have, and it shapes people that I'm around, and certain things that I have to do. So being an IB is definitely something that shapes my identity. Also, I wrote sports because the culture around the sport, meeting new teammates, having playing in games, experiencing wins and loses, that definitely shapes your identity. And that's also a big interest. It's something that it interests me, I enjoy it, so that it's part of it, that for that reason it belongs in the cake of my life. I also put some music notes because that's one of my favorite interests. I really like playing music, I like listening to music. It shapes the way I dress, maybe what I talk about. So it's definitely a big part of my identity. That's why I included it. I also put culture, such as my background, like my ethnicity, my heritage, and my family, because of course that shapes that's a part of my identity that I can't change. So it's forever, it's cemented as me. And for that reason, I think it's very deserving to be in the cake that makes up me. in my life. Also, honorable mention is stuff like nature, such as camping or hiking. I think that's definitely something that shapes me, and it's because it's also one of my favorite interests. So, yeah. So the final layer, I chose red. I chose red because this layer represents me, and red is my favorite color. This is what shows on the surface, and it's kind of representing, what everyone else sees from my identity, which is supported by all the other layers. So just to review, we have on the bottom, kind of the core supporting me up is my loved ones and my friends and family and the people that are there for me. Then second, we have my important experiences, such as things that I consider in high regards of shaping me, such as moving, maybe even, being my dad being in the military and shaping, having to move around and experiencing that. Also stuff that I care about a lot, like workshop, or even tough losses or tough obstacles I had to overcome in life. Then the third layer represents my identity, such as in-groups that I'm a part of, such as IB, sports teams, my friends, my friend groups. And then right on top of that, everything else is supporting it is, my kind of complete identity. So when the cake is fully frosted, it'll be my complete identity, and you'll be able to cut through it and see all the layers. So yeah, this is the top one. This is red because it represents me as my favorite color. And this is the complete cake with my name on top. So now I'm gonna cut slices for people to eat. And here we have it, the cake.